Studio Special.
Welcome to another Sirius XM Fishbowl session. I'm Joey Black in our New York studios with an artist today who's helping shape what modern traditional bluegrass is going to be tomorrow. Voted 2024 IBMA Momentum Instrumentalist of the Year, a regular performer on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry, has an American Currents exhibit at the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, Tennessee, and is the official ambassador for Greater Smokies Region Peaceful Side, honoring the importance of music in Appalachian tradition. Him and his trusty mandolin are going to be on the cover of the tourism guide for the next couple of years. Let's make welcome to the Sirius XM New York studios, Wyatt Ellis and his band.
I hear choo-choo coming.
Wyatt Ellis in our Sirius XM New York studios for a fishbowl session. His awesome band. Thank you so much for coming up here, Wyatt, and bringing them all with
Thank
you,
you
man.
so much for having me. Yeah.
This is great. You sound great. Now, we world premiered that song here on board at Bluegrass Junction a little while ago, but if someone wasn't listening, why don't you tell me where that song came from?
That song originally came from a guy named Cuddles Newsom who had a band, I believe, called the Flat Mountain Boys back in the day with a bunch of bluegrass legends, but we picked it up from Ralph Stanley and the Clinch Mountain Boys.
And how did you wind up making it your own? I mean, you all really sound like you own that song.
Well, you know, it's just been one of my favorites for a long time, and, you know, we started doing it in our live shows and, you know, getting better and better with it. You know, old Alex over here kind of sounds a little bit like Ralph, and we try to get as much to that Stanley sound as we could.
Awesome. Well, this is great to see a cohesive unit for you now. Also, it seemed like just yesterday we were premiering the songs from Happy Valley.
Yeah.
And that was 2 years ago.
It was,
now or
yeah.
so. And so fast forward to here, you've got these awesome pickers standing around you. Why don't you introduce them to me, please?
Well, yeah, let's start over here playing the 6-string guitar and singing a tenor vocal and a little bit of high baritone. He makes his home down in East Tennessee, and his name is Alex Leach. Thank you, music lovers. And over here on the banjo, he makes his home in West Virginia. He sings some of the baritone parts. His name's Gibson Davis.
Yeah, Gibson, welcome.
And over here on the bass, she's from North Carolina, but she now resides in Sevierville, Tennessee, Sarah Griffin.
Honored to be here. Hello.
Welcome, Sarah.
And over on the fiddle, from the bluegrass state of Kentucky, not too far from the Tennessee line, Noah Goebel.
Noah, welcome.
Hey, good to be here.
Yeah, you all sound great. Thank you so much for taking some time to come up and play. How did this unit come to be? All friends, met weird, like, you know, how did you guys put this band together?
Yeah, we just, you know, met in various ways, you know. Gibson, I met him, you know, online through his dad, and
COVID times.
pandemic times, and I met you know, Alex, just because he was always around Knoxville, you know, doing DJ stuff, and you know, was a real legend in that area. And Sarah, you know, just happened on her on the side of the road somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it happened.
No,
Needed a
but,
ride with the bass.
you know, just kind of meet people in the bluegrass community, you know.
And what about Noah? Where did he come in the mix?
Well, I first met Noah at a fiddle contest, and he beat me in the junior mandolin contest.
Oh.
And then, you know, I just we you know, reconnected at IBMA a few years back, and it's been a lot of fun ever since.
Cool. Yeah, those events are great for networking
Oh, yeah.
and meeting up with people and stuff like that. That's awesome. That's great. It's so weird that you met someone new during pandemic times. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. You know,
I think it brought a lot of the community together that would never have, you know, been around each other through like online Zoom meets and stuff like that.
yeah, and because of distance, right? Like normally you
Yeah,
go
yeah.
meet people down the corner,
Exactly.
what was happening in town,
Yeah.
and now, you know, people are still looking to get together, and you were using Zoom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Wyatt, do you have a first memory of music? Like, do you remember hearing music for the first time, or what that might have been that really turned you on and caught your ear?
Yeah, so, you know, I think the first time I heard bluegrass music in particular, you know, was just hearing it around Knoxville, hearing the Osborne Brothers, Rocky Top, and all that. Then, shortly after that, I heard Bill Monroe, and, you know, after that, the Stanley Brothers, and just keep moving on down the line, and I got hooked on it.
That's awesome. And you've got some new material you're working on as a band now,
Yeah.
correct? That's
Definitely.
super exciting.
A lot
Can we
of
hear another
original
one?
stuff, yeah.
Original stuff, too. Well,
Yeah.
I want to talk about that, too. So let's hear one first.
Yeah, here's a little original song we wrote on a bus trip about this time last year. It's called I Believe I'll Go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
our Sirius XM New York studios for a fishbowl session. I'm Joey Black, glad to have you all along. I love how you have thoughtful covers. Like you play songs that I think you believe in, that you kind of own. And then you have originals like this that have a clear foot in the traditions, but kind of has that little quirky turnaround that's sort of like, what's happening or what's going to be happening in the future, which I love. How important is it to you to write original music?
Oh, it's super important. You got to keep the new stuff flowing into bluegrass music, or else, it's just the same old all the time.
And where do you, because that sounds like that could be a classic song, where does that, maturity come from? You wrote that as a group or solo?
Well, I wrote that with a couple good friends of mine, Christian Ward and CJ Lewandowski. But it's actually got a funny story behind it. We were riding on the bus, and Alex, he's from down in Greenville, Tennessee, so he's got that country vocabulary, so he's always saying, I believe I'll go get this or that, and, we thought we'd write that one for him. I believe I'll go.
Yeah, I woke up on the bus that morning. Y'all already had it ready to go.
We worked on it till about 4 a.m.
I think it's those little country vocab words that kind of influence these songs, because we just use them riding down the road. Just, it's like having a conversation without even having a conversation, really.
But that's what lends its authenticity to it as well, though. It's not a forced sort of vocabulary.
Yeah, it just kind of happened.
Right, that's the way it is.
Y'all wrote it on the bus, and I believe we did it the next night.
We did.
I believe we did.
Man, so what's been new, Wyatt, since I saw you? You were last here with us with Justin Moses, which was amazing. But now you're out on your first headlining tour. First performance was your hometown?
Actually, yeah, we did a show last Friday near the house at a cool venue called The Station. But we've got a 5-day run playing shows every night. Well, starting tonight, and that's it's gonna be, you guys on the radio probably, this will be a little bit later down the road, but tonight we'll be playing at Cafe Wah,
which is super exciting.
Yeah,
that's cool. Bringing bluegrass to New York City. We need more of it around here. Being out on the road is different for everyone. There's kind of not like a road Bible that everybody can adhere to. There's no real textbook that works for everyone. What are some of your favorite things about being out on the road?
Just going out and playing music, hanging out, eating, just the normal things.
Do you get to see the areas that you're playing in, or is it kind of unload backstage, eat some catering, or what?
It totally depends, it just depends on, what you got going on and when the show is, but we do try to get around and see as much as we can.
Do you have a favorite thing to do when you come to New York now?
That's a good question. There's good food.
Drive through traffic.
Yeah,
I said favorite. We'll get to the challenges in a minute, Gibson. I don't know about
just try not to get hit by cars and eat good food.
Watch out for the pigeons.
Yeah.
What about challenges? Do you have certain challenges out on the road?
Just the traveling itself, but that ain't too bad. You got to do what you got to do to get to where you're going.
Do you keep a favorite snack? Because, you go end up getting hungry at midnight, and some towns, they're closed at 9 o'clock at night. You're not even finding the 7.
That. We know that all too well.
Where? Do you remember where that might have been?
Last night. Pretty much anywhere, but, we just, pack along as much as we can, your
favorite Pop-Tart in your in
my
your
aunt
basket
made some no-bake cookies this go-around, and they're pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, the illustrious life of a touring bluegrass musician. Where's the craziest place you've changed in before you had to go up on stage?
The craziest place? That's a good question. Hopefully not out in the open.
That bathroom at Growers in Memphis was pretty rough.
Pretty sketchy?
Yeah. I remember changing in almost like a storage pod at Earl Scruggs Fest.
Yeah, it gets to be interesting, the illustrious life, right, of a touring bluegrass musician. Wyatt Ellis and his band here with us performing some brand new songs. So you've got some more original material. Can we hear another one?
Yeah, for sure. This next one is a song that Chris Henry wrote, and he's playing guitar on it on the record. But we're gonna do it for you right now. It's called "Every Day I'm Riding."
Wyatt Ellis and his band here for a Sirius XM Fishbowl session in our New York studios. I'm Joey Black. Alex, I'm really happy they let you loose on that one, man. I heard you warming up on that guitar. It's a beautiful color, too.
Well, thank you, Joe.
What is that? What are you playing there?
This is a Blue Ridge. I've had it for about 2 years and really love this thing. I've been trying to break it in best I can, and always loved the Blue Ridge guitars, and used to have one of the Carter Stanley ones, and played one for a long time. But yeah, this one's about 2 years old, and a lot of fun to pick on.
It's a beautiful color soundboard in the front there, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And Gibson, you got a gold resonator going on yours? What are we playing over there? What's your banjo?
This is a Pruka banjo. They're from the Czech Republic. He builds banjos and mandolins, and this is what he calls his legend model. It's sandblasted gold and maple, and it's been treating me really well lately. I've been really liking it.
Sounds sweet.
Thank you.
Noah, what do you have written on your fiddle? I saw some decorations on there.
It's some sort of Latin. I don't think anybody really knows exactly what it says, but some people say, talking about the wood, like in life I was silent, in death I sing, or something sort of like that, maybe, or some sort of Latin.
Did you do it yourself?
No, this is really old. This is very old.
Where'd it come from?
France, the middle of the 1800s, 1850s-ish, maybe, something like that.
Pretty new, right?
They're pretty new. Really sounds beautiful.
Thank you very much.
That's kind of cool. I don't know if you all are fans of Lonesome Dove. You ever watch the Lonesome Dove special? The series, Larry McMurtry made into a series. They have Gus, my favorite character, has a motto that really no one knows what it says, but it's written in Latin on there also, and it's kind of
cool.
Yeah. So it's very cool. Beautiful instrument.
Thank you very much.
Sarah, how do you put up with four boys traveling around playing bluegrass music?
Whew, yeah, it's tough. Yeah. No, they're all great. They're great to work with and really good people to be around. Very easy to travel with. So.
Was bass always your instrument?
No, I started out playing fiddle, actually. Old time fiddle when I was about 12 years old, some bluegrass, but I went to East Tennessee State University for college, and I started playing bass then around 2020. Yeah, so, and I've loved it ever since. I don't really ever pick up the fiddle anymore, so, but yeah.
I love how as bluegrass people, we know, like, we put a difference between old-time fiddling, Irish fiddling,
Oh, yeah.
bluegrass fiddling. To everybody else, it's just, you know what I mean, it's either a violin or a fiddle. There's no, you know, and
Exactly.
and they'll tell you what the differences are between those instruments besides. But I love that we sort of put a difference in the nuances. There is a lot
Yeah.
of different things that go on. So why did you switch to bass then? And necessity,
I wasn't very good with bluegrass fiddling because I did start doing that when I got to ETSU, but I wasn't good at it at all. I was so bad, so I was gonna like just kind of quit. But my one of my teachers said I should start bass, so I was like, okay. I mean, I've always wanted to learn bass, so I will, and I loved it. This is what I want to do. Like,
Right on.
I've always loved hearing bass at festivals and stuff like that, but didn't ever pick it up until then. So, yeah, I'm gonna stick with this.
we always comment on that as well from going to festivals and sleeping in the jamming area, because no matter where you are,
You hear bass.
that's what you hear. You fall asleep to that. You wake up to that.
That's not exactly what I loved hearing when I was going to sleep, but listening to like performances, yes.
That's great. Wyatt, what are you playing over there, man? That thing sounds so sweet.
This is the one that goes with me pretty much everywhere. It's a 2020 Gibson Master model. I got brand new and does not look brand new anymore. It's quite beat up, but I love it. It's a good one.
Yeah, sounds great. Have any of you played like a super famous instrument, like one that like after you played it, you kind of like put it down and, you know, polished off your fingerprints with your shirt or something?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Gibson, all right. He stepped right up to the microphone. What'd you play?
Wyatt could probably say the same, but there's a thing in Knoxville in January called Banjo-thon, and they also, at the same place, they have Lore Fest and Bone Fest, you know, guitars, mandolins, banjos, and the people always bring their old instruments, and there's always, you know, old pre-war banjos, but like some of J.D. Crow's old banjos and Snuffy Smith's banjo are down there, and some people's famous mandolins. So
I've played a lot of them, but the problem is I ended up with one of them. You know, it's dangerous.
Wait, what do you mean?
It's a long story.
I remember, speaking of Banjo-thon, that year that Eddie Adcock had the Matterhorn banjo out there that day. It was really cool. Got to hold that for a little while, and
I'd say the most famous one I've ever played was Don Wayne Reno's banjo Nelly, that supposedly was the banjo that recorded Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
Wow, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's the Matterhorn? Now, that's my favorite country gentleman song.
Oh, yeah.
But tell me, what's the Matterhorn banjo? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, he played that for many years. It was an Epiphone banjo, and he used that for many of the years with the Country Gentlemen, and nobody had seen it for a long time, but this was probably 8 or 10 years ago, and Eddie and Martha showed up at Banjo-thon there in Knoxville, and I remember walking up, and there it sat, and it was just wild, all the classic Country Gentlemen recordings that were made on that thing. Really cool.
That's cool.
One of my peak experiences was getting to hold and play Bobby Osborne's old mandolin. That's a beast.
Yeah, I bet that just vibrated when you held it, right?
Oh, yeah.
The experience on those things, man. That's
Definitely.
awesome. What was the first thing you played on it? Do you remember?
I don't even remember. Probably a few chop chords and then one of his tunes or something. You know, it's a good one.
Yeah, that's awesome. I also see you play guitar sometimes, Wyatt. What do you listen to outside of bluegrass? Do you have other musical influences, guitar players?
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff?
I listen to, you know, a lot of old country, you know, Keith Whitley, Randy Travis, all those guys, and I love jazz as well. You know, we talked about some of that coming up here. You know, I love that stuff. I love it all pretty much.
Like when you say jazz, like what, like in the bebop era kind of stuff, or
You know, anything, you know, obviously, you know, the classics, you know, like Coltrane.
Coltrane.
It's definitely one of my favorites.
You know, Alex, you got me thinking now because I have an old school ovation at the house that I play.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And people like to give me a hard time about it sometimes until I remind them that the actual song Manzanita was recorded on an ovation.
Yes, sir.
Tony just couldn't get the sound out of the Martin that day.
That's it.
So-
That's it.
So
I
hold
guess
on.
a lot of times it's who's behind that instrument.
Well, that's what it is, right?
Lays it on it.
Tone in the fingers, right?
That's
Gotta lay
it.
it on them.
Wyatt, you're driving now? How's that going?
I am. Yeah, it's going good.
Yeah, you getting to, are you a gearhead? Are you a car fan? Or is it just kind of like a tool that gets you from point A to point B?
I've never been super into cars or anything like that, but it's just,
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
We're the kind, we put, what do they say? You put $4,000 of musical equipment into a $500 car to go make $50 and pay $70 at the bar at the end of the night for your dinner, right?
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Exactly.
So that's the way we roll
Yeah.
too. And stranger to play in the Grand Ole Opry either. Do you remember the first time you got the invitation, where you were, or how that made you feel?
So, the first time, I played there ever, it was with Daly and Vincent. But my artist debut was, separate from that.
Yeah.
But I remember I got a text from, or an Instagram message from Jamie Daly while I was on a Zoom with Bobby Osborne.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's all right.
Yeah. And, my artist debut, it just kind of, slowly came to be, and it was really amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're looking forward to hearing lots more from you on that stage, and some more here too for a Sirius XM Fishbowl session. Wyatt Ellis and his band, you have another original for us?
We do. This is a song that me, Alex, and Gibson wrote down in the lonesome state of Florida.
Bluegrass state of
plumb
Florida.
pitiful. I
It's
tell you.
plumb pitiful and mournful too. Just sitting
Full
down
of
there in the good old Holiday Inn writing lonesome bluegrass tunes. And here's one of them right now. It's called A Lone Goodbye. Just about a week ago, my love and me were bound to go. Loaded up for a walk in the pines. I've always been a mountain man. I know these hills like my own hand. We made our vows and said that we never part.
Wyatt Ellis Band, direct from our SiriusXM New York studios for a fishbowl session. A Long Goodbye. So not exactly a murder ballad. I didn't hear of a flash of a knife or anything like that. So
it goes right to the edge and doesn't go over it.
yeah, but the question is, sung from a male position, did she leave? Or is she missing?
She did.
Or is she dead? Or like what's or is that the mystery of it all?
That's a mystery. Nobody knows.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure it out.
Still trying to figure it out to this day.
So there could be a part 2.
You never
You
can
never
tell.
can tell.
It could be a longer goodbye.
You just
or
gave us an
or a
idea.
text.
Turn it
A quick
into the
text.
fast one after that.
Maybe even a new hello or
A
something.
new hello. There it is.
Whisper a new hello.
Wow. All right.
Sure.
I'll take a third of that song, right? You all wrote that together. How is it? Right, because on Happy Valley, it's all instrumental.
Yeah.
Right. So this is, well, now you cut a song with Peter Rowan, but he was singing, and you cut the B-side on that one with you singing. So this is really like a vocal recorded debut in a
Oh, yeah.
sense, kind of, right?
For sure, yeah.
What kind of brought you to that moment that it's time to sing?
Well, it's, just what I love to do, and I've been working on it more and more, and, we've been singing a lot together, so it's kind of naturally the next step.
Yeah, natural progression. And you all sound great, the 3 parts.
Thank you.
Sound
Thanks
great
so
in the
much, Joe.
studio,
It's
for
easier
sure.
to write songs when you have people to bounce ideas off of. I don't claim to be a great songwriter, but around Alex and Wyatt, people come up with ideas. I'm like, hey, that's great, or hey, that's not very good at all.
We had some of those.
Yeah, certainly.
Well, you got to be honest, right? Because as a band, if it's something that hopefully you'll be singing for the next however many years of your life, you're going to want to be liking what you're singing in 10 years
Hopefully.
from now, maybe, right? So,
Yeah, at least some of it.
any people you rely on for inspiration, like something that if you're tied up and you're like, oh well, let's go listen to some Randy Travis you had mentioned before or something like that. Do you?
Yeah, the Stanleys,
Stanleys.
Keith Whitley, all that old stuff. We like the sad stuff. The sad, the lonesome, and
It ain't
the
sad.
downright mournful.
A lot of that sad stuff, and the Stanleys are always good to pull from and all. And a lot of times when I'm sitting around and just want to get in the songwriting mood, I don't know what it is, but people like Brian Wilson and like doo-wop music always kind of gets me into a good songwriting mode a lot of times.
Yeah.
Listening to people like that that have the just so many
Sometimes if
crazy
you-
chord progressions.
Sometimes
you know?
if you listen to enough of it, it just comes to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seeps through. Well, doo-wop is an interesting left turn I didn't expect to hear.
Oh yeah,
That's kinda
always
cool.
been one of my favorites. My grandparents played that in the house all the time, and so yeah, I've always been a big 50s and 60s fan as well. So
Yeah.
That's
My
for sure.
family, they all lived up here and sang doo-wop as well. So,
yeah,
Well, you can see
connection.
the bridge, right? Because it's all harmonies and working together, and a lot of it's a cappella besides.
yes,
So you could definitely hear the similarities and the bridge between the two. Yeah, interesting. Why? I don't know. I mean, you've been doing this professionally, I guess you'd say now, for a couple of years. I mean, is there something else you could ever imagine doing now? Like, I mean, if
Not really.
no, right? I mean, like, you're kind of like, this is it. Like, you kind of can't go back to selling shoes at the mall.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like scooping ice cream. Like, those
No,
are cool
that-
summer jobs, but I
Yeah.
mean, for 14, 16-year-old, people, but I mean, if
Yeah.
okay, so if you had to, can you think of something that you might be happy doing if, you had to go to like a 9 to 5 at some point?
that's that's a good question.
That's a
I
good
think.
question. I ain't thought about it too much.
Well, good, don't,
But,
because that'll put other thoughts
Yeah.
in your mind then. Stick with this then,
Yeah,
for
think
sure.
about it.
Yeah, right. We talked a little bit before. You had mentioned about Daly and Vincent bringing you up on stage.
Yeah.
And you've been a guest on lots of really cool stages with lots of amazing artists. Can you tell me about a time, or I mean, I'm sure you have a couple, but can you tell me about a time where you just kind of look around and just be like, is this really me? Like, is this really happening right now? Like, what's going on?
I remember, being at Delfest one time, and, I was sitting in a green room, and Peter Rowan, Del McCurry, and Sam Bush were all just sitting there telling stories. It was pretty cool. You know, it's just, you know, and another moment like that is I got to meet Randy Travis a little while back. But, you know, it's just kind of happening all the time in this bluegrass and country world of things.
That's awesome. Well, you know, bluegrass is always a pay it forward kind of community.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, one day they're going to be sitting around being like, I can't believe I was just in the green room with Wyatt. That was so cool. You know what I mean? Have you been signing instruments or doing, you know, are other people coming up to you?
Yeah.
The little kids are already like that, Joey.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my gosh, it's Wyatt Ellis. He's got a...
They're like, there he is. Oh my gosh. We hear them all around us.
He's certainly got the younger crowd in his pocket. That's for
Yeah.
And there's
Well,
that
that's-
guitar player over there.
The old man of the group over here, I guess you could say.
But he's only 11.
He's only 14 years old.
Oh, that's all right. We got to keep this music alive, and it's through original music, and it's through making sure, you know what I mean, the music is getting out to all different parts of the world, like New York, like you play in Cafe Wah, like that's awesome. You know, even places like Delfest that bring an eclectic, different musicians from all different kinds of genres to get together. Everyone's grooving in the audience together. I mean, you have the most Larry Sparks at Delfest this year. You know what I'm saying? You don't get really much more traditional than Larry Sparks going up against, you know, than Sierra Farrell playing and stuff like that. So